So all of you who asked me for a pantry tour, thanks a lot. It's been really hell. Hey everybody, this is Dylan. What I intended to be just a quick and simple pantry tour ended up being a complete reorganization of my entire life. I was operating fine out of the pantry that I had. When I wanted to eat food, I knew what was there and I ate the food. I was wrong. Reebs decided that it would be best if we Marie Kondo this entire thing, rip it all out.
There's a mess in here.
And then piece by piece analyze whether the object sparks joy, I believe is the phrase. And so you now have here a pantry full of sparks of joy, a damn bonfire of joy, if you ask me.
Remember that time you were gonna film this video as if your pantry always looked like this and it was a fresh from scratch pantry tour?
That was a fleeting idea for a moment.
You know
Don't
what?
accuse me.
We spent like several hours on this planogram that we're definitely not using.
We're gonna use that. That's gonna be part of our free download. We're definitely including that planogram. Okay. should we
Dylan, you
begin?
look very tall.
I'm on a crate. Should we officially begin the tour?
Sure, we better start somewhere.
By the way, if yours is a little different, please don't take this as me like dogging on you. I know that everybody does things a little differently as far as what their go-to items are. I'm just telling you mine. So let's start with pasta. We bought these pasta containers at Walmart thinking that they were gonna fit here. They did not. So now you're a little bit high, but you can reach them even without this crate that I'm standing on. So it's usually like 4 main types of pasta that we go through day to day. Shells, which I love for my shells with cheese. Macaroni, same idea. Spaghetti is nice with the red sauce. Penne I like to do when I do it in the Instant Pot because penne is a thicker one. It doesn't get like too mushy, but I do like mushy pasta from the Instant Pot. And then we have a few others like lasagna noodles, which I don't make lasagna too often because it does take more work. Oh, maybe a spiral pasta, like for when I'm doing the pasta salad. These 4 I can buy in bulk at Winco. So we're thinking of maybe putting like a master list here for all the different stores and our go-to items so that we could just like scan it with our eyeballs and be like, what do we need? And then I'll just throw them into my phone on the list. This is our tea and also coffee, well coffee, replacements, like the Dandy blends. And then these are all just herbal teas. I don't do any black or green tea anymore. I just don't care for caffeine. I don't care for how it plays with my sleep and stuff. No, we do not plan on keeping milk crates as our baskets, but we can't exactly go shopping for fancy crates. In the meantime, we're making the old contraband milk crates work. Ask me how I got those. I didn't steal them. Soy milk. Here's the soy milk that we like from Trader Joe's. It's less than $2 a quart, and it's just soybeans and water. Next, we have our nuts and seeds section. Now, many of you watching may not carry any of these. Congratulations, you're stronger than me. These are the dry roasted pistachios, dry roasted unsalted pistachios from Trader Joe's.
Pistachio nut meats.
Pistachio nut meats. I can't believe that the marketing team was like, yeah, let's put that word nut meats in. It's gonna sell. Sesame seeds. The Costco peanut butter I like because I think it's just peanuts and a little bit of salt. This settles real hard, so I put this in the food processor and give it a good hard stir for a couple of minutes and then put it back in the jar. And then it lasts for the life of the container. These are the dry roasted unsalted crack or hazelnuts. Some raw peanuts that we'll roast sometimes for Asian dishes. I don't usually use the powdered almond butter or peanut butters, but you got one and...
Honestly, I bought it and I didn't love it.
It's defatted, right? Don't they take some of the fat out?
Mm-hmm.
You're eating nuts because they're rich. If you take the richness out, what is it? You just like the flavor of almonds? Come on. I go in phases with tahini. Like I'll go through a phase where I'm putting a little bit of stream of tahini on about everything. But lately, I haven't used it in months. These are my big stock pots for when I'm processing beans or tomatoes for canning. We hide our, our junk food is not really junk food. We can't hide chips and stuff like that in the house because just no way. But up there we have the little bit of like the pretzels or the Mary's Gone crackers that need to be out of sight or they'll just be gone all at once. Am I ready to step down off of my crate? I think so.
Get off your soapbox, Dylan.
Here I have a drawer for my smoothie stuff. This is completely irrelevant for most people unless you like to nutrient chase in just one aspect of my life. I like to do a little nutrient chasing, so I will not do it with any of my cooking. But when I make a smoothie, and I try to do smoothies when I'm working out because it's a good way for me to get an extra 1,000 calories in my smoothies with some frozen fruit, some nuts and seeds, flax, chia, sunflower seeds. I put walnuts and almonds in my smoothies. I put my green pea shoots, and I only put just enough fruit to make it taste edible. I also put in like my dulse flakes, the vitamin C, SEA, amla powder, moringa, some maca powder, maybe chlorella or spirulina, things like that. The pepitas I'll put in my smoothie. That's a nuts and seeds, but I'll put it in my smoothie section. So when I do my smoothies is when I'll take a vitamin D if I haven't been getting much sun, and a vitamin B12. So those are my only 2 supplements that I keep ever, and those I keep in the pantry along with 2 backups. We have 2 of these drawers now for baking because it just became a cluttered mess. Here's a little bit of egg replacer. The only time I use egg replacer is when I make McDougal's pancakes, but I've done it with flax seeds and it's perfectly fine. So once this runs out, I don't think I'll replace it. Baking soda, baking powder. We've got the guar gum, xanthan gum, agar, vanilla, cinnamon, the dates. Hagelslag, the little chocolate sprinkles.
This should be a naughty food.
This is, it can be naughty. This can get you into trouble. Sometimes I'll do a PB&J with Hagelslag, as if the peanut butter and jelly wasn't enough. You can just really kick it up a notch. Sugar, we almost never use sugar for anything. So this is like a 15-year supply of peppermint flavor. We're set. Oh, and then maple syrup. We randomly bought this fancy maple syrup, bourbon barrel aged from Costco on a whim. This is the normal maple syrup. And the only time I use maple syrup is, again, on pancakes. We have some cocoa powder. Oh, this one's almost empty. Oh, we have one back up. Coconut. We don't use coconut very often. I'll use it to make coconut milk instead of using coconut milk. Here's the carob powders, which is just a caffeine-free version of cocoa powder. Different flavor, but pretty good. Here's almond flour, tapioca flour. What the hell is tapioca flour anyway? I don't know why we didn't throw that out. So that's really the baking section. We got these cute little containers because Reebs is a nerd. So we've got the potato basket, which normally I'll have some sweet potatoes in here too. Did we eat up all the sweet potatoes? Dang. Onions, so I just do yellow and red onions in here. All the different dried whole chilies. Chipotle that I like to blend up into like my cheese sauce or any other kind of Latin recipes. Here are the real spicy ones, the little Thai chilies. I really do love the chipotle flavor, so those are a good one to have. Vinegars. Vinegars are pretty simple. I really just recommend balsamic, a red wine vinegar, a white wine vinegar, and apple cider vinegar. I like to have a rice vinegar too. Frivolous ones like champagne vinegar. Why not just use white wine vinegar, whatever. I have a random cans and an always cans. And the things that I keep that I always have ready to go, jarred or canned, right? When you can the beans yourself, they are mushier than you buy them in the aluminum can. I do have the aluminum cans of beans too because the texture is a little different. I like to keep pinto beans, black beans, some kind of a white bean. Right now for us it's the Mayokoba, which is kind of not white, it's in the middle. I'm not a big fan of kidney beans, but we use them for chili. Then that's like the only time I like kidney beans. Garbanzo beans, I have the canned version again because they pretty much, when you can them, they're mush and they're great for hummus. But if I'm making Indian food or something, I'll keep the canned no salt added garbanzo beans because they have a much firmer texture. Black olives, careful, they're super salty and higher in fat, but I do like black olives chopped and sprinkled on certain dishes. We had pizza night the other day, gotta have those black olives for that. I don't always have canned corn, but I do right now. And then tomatoes. I always have a boatload of diced tomatoes canned and tomato sauce, no salt added. Even if you eat salt, I would get your canned stuff no salt added because it is a lot of salt that they put in. And if you're gonna eat salt, add it at the end. Don't get the salty tomatoes and beans. Here are our random cans. I do have the tomato paste in the random can just because it fits better in here. I like the chilies in adobo. This is very salty, so we just use it sparingly. Canned green chili, the diced up green chili, those are fun for some Latin dishes or making nachos or something like that. Coconut milk, I almost never use coconut milk. Here's the jackfruit, the green jackfruit in the brine. I don't use this very often unless I'm entertaining and I want to make some sort of meat replacement thing. Pumpkin, very rare, but you've got it. If I'm really just in a hurry and I don't want to make my own refried beans, out of the mushy beans, like I said, I'll have a couple of cans of fat-free. This is pretty salty stuff, so I don't do it very often. This is just regular white flour. We have a few other carryovers from random stuff. I had teff flour because it was on clearance, and I do want to experiment with making some injera for the Ethiopian cooking show episode that we're thinking about doing soon. The chickpea, the whole wheat, and the masa are the only ones that I really, truly care about. I don't really keep dry beans in the pantry because I have them all canned, so anytime that I cook with beans, I'm gonna use the canned stuff. Unless I'm doing something special, I've got all my bulk bins down in the basement that I'll show you next time. Here's what I do keep. Green split peas, I like to make split pea soup or use it in my starch blaster. Red lentils, I love red lentils for thickening things up. Regular brown lentils or green lentils, whatever you want to call them. Here would be like a 13 bean mix. This is probably the only dry beans that I have because I'll just take this, put it in a pot, add water and spices, and just let it simmer all day into a thick bean soup. Black-eyed peas are more like a lentil in the time that it takes to cook, so they're very quick. And then soy curls. Where else are you gonna put them? So I'll keep the soy curls with all the beans. They are a soybean, I guess. Okay, let's do some grains. I'm gonna start with the less common grains that I don't care as much about because they're gonna go in the back. Amaranth, I don't use very much. At some point, you're like, this is too many options. Quinoa looks just like a miniature version of quinoa. Farro and bulgur wheat, I don't really use very often. They go in like a tabbouleh salad or something like that. Hominy, we bought this to play with and experiment with. We do have some white rice for fun. Of course, I like white rice, but I try to do brown rice. Here's a wild rice blend that's nice to play with. This is wild rice just by itself, not the blend. I like to throw wild rice into things, so I do try to have straight up wild rice, not blend. Popcorn, I love air popping popcorn at home, so I have lots of popcorn. And these are the ones that I'm always using. So we got quinoa, I love quinoa. Short grain brown rice. We do have some long grain and also some basmati style brown rice. Oats, these are just rolled oats, oatmeal. I like pearl barley in my starch blaster. That's pretty much the only thing that I use it in. I have them spread out enough to where you can kind of shuffle them around and find what you want. By the way, here we'll put dried fruits. I've got some raisins. Dates I left over here though. Should I not put the dates in the baking section? Figs, and then if I get the mango, the dried mango, I'll put that up here. Costco is out. Are we ready to take on the spices?
I think it's time.
Oh man. This is gonna suck. Let's kind of tackle it, shall we? These are kind of Eastern influence spices. Indian chili powder, turmeric, coriander. I have coriander seed and ground coriander. Cumin seed, ground cumin. Curry powder, I go through a lot of curry powder. Asafoetida, it's in a little jar, but I keep it in here because it's a raunchy scent. Mango powder, I like for Indian cooking. Ginger, here's some cardamom. Cinnamon sticks in baking. And then here's a blend, garam masala. Sumac, I have not used and don't know what it's like yet, so that'll be experimental. Here we have a little basket that has all the different spice blends. This is a Mexican spice blend that we like. Most of these I made myself. Cajun seasoning, za'atar, baharat, Burberry. Oh, here's that everything bagel stuff from Costco. That's pretty good. Here are my go-to things. Fresh red pepper, granulated garlic, black pepper, chopped onion. This is just like dehydrated onion. The Costco no salt seasoning. I know that's a spice blend, but I use it all the time. Italian seasoning, I put in a lot of stuff. Onion powder. Basil, this is my freeze-dried basil, but...
Oh, let's see it.
It's, just looks like basil. Marjoram, tarragon, oregano, smoked paprika. So those are kind of another section of spices. It's all gonna get jumbled. You gotta go through your spices once in a while. There's just no two ways about it. We got bay leaves, that'll go somewhere in here. I have a bunch of mushroom powder. I like mushroom powder in soups and stews and stuff. It gives it a nice flavor. Dried shiitake mushrooms, again, you can blend it up into a powder or chop it up more and add it to soups and ramens and things like that. Bulk cloves and anise, whatever. Hello, my name is Nooch. And that is the spices. The scariest part of the whole pantry. We did it. Okay, let's do our Asian section. Soy sauce, dried seaweeds, nori wrappers, and rice paper wrappers, Korean pepper powder, rice noodles, wheat noodles. This is some of that edamame pasta from Costco. I'm like kind of medium on this stuff. It's okay. So aside from that, all we really have left are just the random olive, garlic, no salt added mustard, Some more While Your World Sriracha. Ooh. Pickles. Balsamic. It's looking pretty good in here.
I love it.
Okay, now that it's all put away, doesn't it look so beautiful? We got 2 baking racks, our random cans, frivolous smoothie stuff, nut butters, nuts and seeds, potatoes, our onions, our chili pods. We got all of our legume-related dry starches. Then we have our vinegars, whole dry grains, always cans, our spices, flour products here, a little bit of dry fruit, our dry single ingredient cereals, soy milk, tea, and coffee replacement type of stuff. Here's some of my cheese and mushroom gravy. And then we've got our Asian basket that we went through together. Parchment paper, aluminum foil, blah, blah, blah. Then up here we just have all the extra condiments that are not open. Oh, and then we have our pasta. And that's pretty much it. What else do you need in a pantry but that? I didn't want to do it, but we did it, and I'm way better of a person now because of it. If you guys like this video, please let me know, because I can also do a refrigerator tour, a freezer tour, and then my basement storage tour. So if you want those, please let me know down below. I'll see you on the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.